Hey, it's Jeff. Welcome back. Let's get started. Okay. Now the king looks kind of safe. The queen on d2 is guarding their g2 pawn, so I don't see anything super important going on that side. Their last move was b4. So I do know that the rook on d8 is lined up against their queen, so maybe a move like bishop takes e5, and then if they take back with the pawn, we'll have some discovery with the knight. Maybe, let's say bishop takes e5, pawn takes e5. I don't really know what else after that, to be honest. Or if maybe we can move the knight somewhere, then we would be threatening bishop takes e5. I'm not really seeing what's going on. So what other candidate moves do we have? Rook g8. I feel like it could be too slow. B5, they can take on passant. Or they could even just take the knight with the bishop or move the bishop away. So I feel like it could be something with this taking the knight at the right time and having an attack on the queen while trying to do something else. Yeah, I'm not seeing any tactics. And so let's say knight takes b4 and then queen takes. Is there any logic in this? Bishop takes e5 then, pawn takes. Not seeing it. Could it be something like bishop takes e5 and going bishop f3 at some point, and then build up pressure on g2? Oh, it's probably going to be something really simple that I'm missing. But this one is very difficult for me. Because I just have no leading ideas, like anything I look at. There's nothing that indicates that it would work in any variation, except maybe the bishop takes e5 and then trying to do some discovery with the knight. Yeah, this one we're gonna end up guessing, and it'll be pretty instructive, probably. So what's the best guess here? The bishop takes e5 or something else? I really just don't see anything other than bishop takes e5. That's forcing. I mean, knight takes b4 again. Doesn't seem to make much sense. Oh, is the knight trapped? That's one thing I always forget about. But I used to have a saying for myself, like if I don't see a tactic, look for a way to trap the queen. But this one might actually be a knight trap. Because if we simply move our knight away, no. Well, I don't know. I was thinking if we move our knight away, we would be threatening to take with our bishop on e5, then they wouldn't be able to take back. And like let's say knight f6, the knight can't retreat anywhere. So that's probably the point of this tactic somehow. The question is, how do you take advantage of it? Because if we go knight f6 now, can't they just move the queen off the d file? Well, knight f6 and queen c2. But maybe it's something we can do with this bishop on c4. So like if we go b5 and then bishop takes d5, then we go rook takes d5. And then the queen still moves. I'm just thinking bishop takes e5. And if pawn takes, no clue. Yeah, this one confuses me. Like there are 2,000 and higher rated puzzles that I have at least some idea that it's between one move or another move, but this I'm gonna just play the only idea that I see. Okay, so that was right. So it's something after this, because the puzzle's still going, but that was the right first move. Could it be knight b6, threatening the bishop on c4? Feel like they can just go queen c2 again, and then what are we doing? Because I have seen this position, I just don't know. I don't see a tactic in this position. Stuff like knight f4, there's pawn takes f4, and then that's threatening our queen. Yeah, bishop f3, I think just pawn takes. I'm looking at all the squares that the knight could move to, like knight e3, queen takes e3, right? So again, I don't see exactly where it is. And something like b5, let's say bishop takes, rook takes, queen just moves away again. Let's see, what if knight f6 with the idea of going to g4? I feel like it's got to be wrong somehow. Like knight f6, queen c2, knight g4. h3, queen h4. I feel like stuff's defended there for them. And is this one really 1600? Okay, let me look at my thought process tips. So I looked at all squares controlled by each side many times. I don't think the king is exposed. The bishop on c4 is undefended. Queen is on the same line as our rook. They don't have a weak back rank. Looks like we have active pieces. So we're really just looking at forcing moves. No checks make sense. The only check is queen g2 and the queen just takes back. In terms of captures, we have queen takes e3 or knight takes e3 or knight takes b4. And we looked at queen takes g2 because that's also a check. So out of the 3 remaining captures, either knight taking these 2 pawns or queen taking this pawn. Like queen takes e3 looks like nothing, rook just takes. And knight b4, queen takes. Don't see a good follow-up. No. And knight takes e3. I think just queen takes. So it doesn't look like it's gonna be a check or a capture. So it'll be a threat, a quiet move. So again, I'm looking at moves like knight b6. And after queen c2, oh, okay. Knight b6, queen c2, knight takes c4, queen takes c4, rook d2, threatens mate, and threatens the bishop on b2. And they can't guard against both of those threats. That was the point. That was actually the point. So this knight b6, it looked like it was difficult for me because the queen can take back on c4. And it looked like, okay, you're just exchanging material, but you want to calculate all forcing moves to end. So after the queen is on c4, rook d2 is a clear threat of checkmate, and this bishop on b2 would be undefended. So now I'm confident enough to play knight b6. It could still be wrong for some reason, but I've spent ideally I try to do like 4 minutes for these puzzles, and I spent a long time. So this is going to be another one puzzle video. We're going to go knight b6. Okay, so that was right. They just blocked with the bishop, and we can just take this free bishop on b4. Question is, will our knight get trapped? I think, like, let's say knight takes c4, queen c3. We can even maybe push to b5, and if they take en passant, we could take back with our knight, and maybe we give a pawn back or something, but this knight isn't going to be as trapped as we would think. I'm just playing knight c4, and that was the puzzle. Okay, so let's go to the analysis board. I'll just talk a little bit about what I had saw. So in this position, I didn't see anything else other than just taking knight, and with the idea that we have some discovery maybe. But because I didn't see immediately what that follow-up would be. I spent a lot of time checking other types of moves in the position. But after this, knight b6, the queen is attacked. So, and the bishop is also attacked. So they move the queen. Then knight takes queen here. We have rook d2. And once you see this move and that it threatens both things, that's when the light bulb in your head goes off and you realize that you solved the puzzle, most likely. And so that's why they didn't go for it. They just blocked with the bishop. And so we have this free bishop, but you do have to look because now this knight doesn't have any squares. It can't go here. Like it's guarded by something. But luckily you have moves like b5. And after c takes b6, you can take back like this. And this is still a win for black. Okay, so I'm going to look at the mistakes. Most common mistake was knight f4 on move 2. So in this situation, knight f4. And yeah, I didn't like this because after pawn takes, they're attacking the queen. So if we take the rook and they take here, then there's no more tactic. Or is there? No, it's just even. And so you would have to see like your opponent's best response to knight f4 there was just they would have a move that would also attack your queen. And also, let me go back to my analysis board. After knight f4, let's say they just moved the queen somewhere. This still isn't even a win for black. Because maybe you're thinking, oh, they go here, and you do something like that. But they just stay protecting this. And this is still an even position, pretty much. So let's find the next mistake. So next one is also on move 2, and it's knight takes e3. So here, knight takes e3. So I did consider this during the puzzle, and I just thought queen takes e3, and there's not a good follow-up. The rook can't infiltrate anywhere. We don't have any other threats. A move like this is too slow. They can guard with pretty much anything. And then on move 1, we have f4 as a mistake. So f4 here. This I did consider, like, and especially in a practical game, this might be a move I might just try to look at if there were no tactics, because then you're looking for type of pawn breaks and ways to break through and activating your pieces more. This is probably wrong for some reason, but these are the kind of ideas I would be looking for in a position, and then something like that becomes a threat. But the problem is, it's definitely like too slow for these types of puzzles if there's not a concrete follow-up where you know you're winning material for sure. So the engine gives this is the best move, and then rook takes e3. So it's a slight edge, but it's not winning anything. Actually, what is this? So queen here. Okay, what's the material? We both got a rook, we both got 3 minor pieces, both got a queen, so yeah, still it's just an evenish position. But in comparison, going for this, you're guaranteed to win some material. You just have to calculate further enough to see that you're able to do it. And this is something where if you have bad visualization, it can be even more difficult to see that after this, you have an option to do some type of double attack. Because if the position is starting to get fuzzy around then, it greatly decreases the chance that you'll find it. But a combination of visualization and a very good tactical vision. So like if this was the first position in the puzzle and it was just this on the board, more people would be able to see that, okay, you take this and go here, and you're threatening mate, you're threatening to win material. But it's much harder in this position to get to that point, because you have to imagine so much. Like, you remove this knight, and now this file is open, and then you're also thinking of candidate moves in every other situation, since you're not exactly sure where the tactic is for certain. Now, it was good that in the beginning I did notice that taking here, there's possibility for something like this, but even with that knowledge, it was still difficult for me to calculate ahead and see exactly how you would do it. So I ended up guessing the most logical move, and at this point I just thought more until I saw it. But a stronger player probably would have been able to see the whole solution before taking the knight on e5 much faster than me. So yeah, it's just a matter of keep practicing, and you get better and better at it. So hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.